Alrighty then, Successful Indie Author, 5-Minute Focus, episode 1213, Scene Transitions. I always talk about transitions between the scenes and the action. All that is the ebb to the flow. The flow gets the reader into it, engaged, emotionally engaged, and the transition is the denouement, the ending, the wrap-up, and then the roll into the next scene. That's all scene transition is. So the ebb after the flow, think of it that way. Also, new haircut. I paid $55 for this. So if you comment, please comment that, yes, your haircut is worth that $55. So I don't want their damn $55 haircut for when you have no hair. Anyway, denouement. And then set up for the next scene. So how do you set up the next scene? Well, does it require a painting of a new background? Does it require introduction of new characters? Does it require the wrap-up of that last scene? So there's other things you can do that don't include foreshadowing. And you'll see foreshadowing as sometimes it's okay. Little did he know the worst was yet to come. That's foreshadowing. It's saying, oh my God, something crazy is going to come up. Really? You don't need to say that. That's you can flow into it a little easier than that. You wrap up the scene. She sat alone, wondering what to do. Okay, she sat alone. So now you've removed the other characters from that scene. You've put her there on a bench by herself, and there's the wrap up. Now, what's it look like moving forward? So scene transitions, I use 3 asterisks. 3 asterisks is something that Atticus recognizes. Vellum recognizes it as well as a scene transition. And then if you format in Atticus, it automatically will put in a bar or some kind of graphic between the scenes as opposed to just 3 asterisks. So I use, after my last paragraph, I'll use a space and then 3 asterisks. And in Word, gives a good look. In Atticus, I have a bar that's like 25 or 30% of the page is also, it's just a little thing, but it's a bar. It's very clearly that it's separating scenes. Vellum can do all kinds of things. Vellum is a little more powerful, I believe, but that's, you have to have a Mac or something to use that. And I do not. So Atticus works great, but that's the transition. That's between scenes. And actually, I think it's called scene transition. So there you go. So you've got your words, but then you've got a physical break as well in a chapter. Sometimes that's just, you end the chapter and the next chapter is the new scene. So that's a good way to end a chapter and move forward. End a chapter on an open loop, such as she sat alone wondering what to do. Well, the reader's wondering what to do as well. So they'll move to that next chapter and keep reading. I'm a big fan of keeping readers reading. Don't give them a reason to stop reading because they may not come back, and we don't want that. It could paint the landscape for the next scene. The peaks stood majestically against the cerulean blue of the morning sky. Termination dust, that is, snow, sprinkled lightly across them like so many powdered donuts. Just depends the tone of your book. But those kinds of setups, okay, are you writing epic fantasy? Are you writing a book that requires this new scene? Because, hey, they're going to trudge to the top of that mountain. Well, that's something different then. Well, let's make sure that's set up in the right way. It was cold. It was dark. It was, a dark and stormy night, right? Snoopy. Never diss Snoopy's prose. But that's all scene transition is. It could be one sentence. It could be one page. It's to ebb after the flow of the scene, after you've gotten the reader's heart racing, after you've engaged the reader's emotions. You bring them down gently, and then you start ratcheting them up for the next scene, for the next action sequence, for the next emotionally engaging element of your story. Transition. You need them because otherwise it's extremely abrupt. If you end an action sequence, 3 asterisks, and then immediately start something else, something new, you just keep jerking the reader farther and farther, higher and higher, keep their pulse racing. Yes, some stories do that, and you start, and it is a horse race to the end. That's hard on readers, I believe, and my readers especially who are older. So I try to give them that ebb and flow, a natural flow of life. You aren't always ratcheted up because you run out of energy. If your heart is racing all the time, you run out of gas and you just keel over. You just stop. Like, okay, I just can't do this anymore until your heart explodes or you stop. And I don't want to do that to readers. Ebb and flow. There's a natural rhythm to life. Deliver that to your readers, and that ebb is the scene transitions, and then you flow, pick it up again, and then ebb, flow. Okay, that's a good rhythm. Keeps the readers reading and keeps the story moving forward. Peace, fellow humans.